Right, boys. So, French A-level, let's have a look at it. First of all, why study French? Well, look, there are more than 220 million people speak French on the 5 continents. The OIF, which is an international organization of French-speaking countries, comprises 77 member states and governments. French is the second most widely learnt foreign language after English, and it's actually the sixth most widely spoken language in the world. But the fact that it's learnt, after English means that, anywhere in the world you'll find people will, they'll either speak English or they'll certainly speak French. So it actually says there French is also the only language alongside English that is taught in every country in the world. So, you'll be able to get by with bits of French there. So now let's have a look at it. For GCSE, we're doing the EDUCAS specification, and for A-level, we will also do the EDUCAS spec. Over the 2 years, you'll practice, obviously, your listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills. We'll build on the skills that you've built up from GCSE onto A-level. It's divided into 4 main topics. Being a young person in a French-speaking society, so again, that's like relationships, being a good citizen and that type of thing. Understanding the French-speaking world, so we look at, again, not just France, but we look at those French-speaking countries, particularly the countries in Africa. Diversity and difference is obviously a key again, a key topic that we look at, but also, boys, and particularly, again, if you're keen on history, the 4th topic is a really interesting one, that it's France between 1940 and 1950. So when you think about it, France, it's during the Second World War, during the occupation when the Germans occupied France, but also the post-war years, so from 1945 onwards to 1950, and rebuilding France and that thing. So again, for those of you think about it, yes, you are improving your language, but it's also quite cultural, and also there's a nice historical aspect to the course as well, with certainly that 4th topic. The scheme of assessment, well, you've got 3 exams, really, 3 components, but we'll call them 3 exams. The first exam is the speaking test. What that entails is task 1 is, yes, you have to present an independent research project. You've got to speak for 2 minutes. It's got to be something on France or a French-speaking region, or any aspect of France, to be honest. Some that maybe a particular topic or a particular interest that you have, that you want to research and want to present. People in the past have done, for example, talking about a certain region of France, and its industrial contribution, and its contribution agriculturally and geographically and tourist, and that type of thing. So we've done that before. People have looked at, in fact, France during the Second World War and that type of thing. So, but it's up to you. You decide. Obviously, we help you, we guide you on what you want to do, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. And the idea is, it is an independent research project. Yeah, it's supposed to be independent, meaning, we really, as the teachers, are not supposed to help you at all. So it's something that you do have to go away. It's a little bit like a preparation for maybe university, the kind of thing that you might do at university. So you speak for 2 minutes, and then you have a discussion with the examiner for about 9 to 10 minutes. It will be a visiting examiner. It's not myself or Miss Whittle who would do the actual exam. It will be a visiting examiner, and they'll talk for 9 to 10 minutes, but you will give 6 or 7 subheadings. So you'll guide the conversation. It's not, you'll guide the conversation based on your independent research project. So hopefully the examiner will ask the questions that you have prepared answers for. And then the second task is actually is a theme-based photo card discussion. And again, it's similar to what you do at GCSE, the photo card, but maybe with a little bit more detail. The second one is the biggest paper, because the speaking test was 30%. Well, this is 50% of the A-level. It's a 2.5-hour paper, and it's listening, reading, and translation. You get to your translations are both ways, so from French into English and English into French, 20 marks for each of those. You get 30 marks for listening and 30 marks for reading. The listening, boys, is you know, in many ways is easier than a GCSE. GCSE is the hardest. I think that, yeah, is the hardest stage, I think, for listening of a foreign language, and particularly French, because at A level you control the recording. So it's on a computer. You put the headphones on and you can play that track as many times as you want. So if you know, there's a word you can't quite get, you can play it, well, you can play it 50 times if you want to get it. I mean, obviously, you know, you don't spend too much time on it, but in other words, you don't just hear it twice, and if you've missed it, that's it. No, you can go back to it, even when you finish the rest of the paper, and go back to maybe something you didn't understand with listening and listen again. So, and then, you know, reading tasks, and those tasks are very similar to what you do at GCSE, but obviously the content and the questions are harder. And finally, then, the, you know, paper 3 or exam 3 is, it's well, critical and analytical response in writing. What that is, it's basically you've got to write 2 essays and of about 300 words each, and one essay is on a film and the other essay is on a book. And basically the film that we've chosen, certainly chosen in the past, and currently the boys in the lower 6 are currently about to start watching and studying, is Au revoir les enfants, which is a film set during the Second World War, so fits actually quite nicely into that topic of 1940 to 1950 France. And it's about 3 Jewish boys who hid in a Catholic boys' boarding school during the war, and obviously the dangers that involved, you know. And so I don't want to give too much away about the film, but it's a fantastic film which won all kinds of awards back in the 1980s. And then a French novel. Now, again, traditionally we studied L'Étranger. You know, we might change that, but actually L'Étranger is a fantastic novel by Albert Camus. It's not too long. It's about 130, 140 pages. We read it in French. We then discuss the ideas, very much the existentialist ideas, which it's too long. We haven't got enough time to go into detail about what that exactly is for now. But again, fascinating book. 20% of the A level is on that there. So that's what makes up the 100% of the A level. Just a little point there, going back to the independent research project or individual research project. Again, you choose your own area of interest. It must relate to French culture. Research must include online resources. And again, it's assessed as part of the A-level speaking test. But we can talk more about that in time. Okay, just one thing I want to say is, look, if you end up doing French at A-level, you may, of course, be thinking about going on doing it at university. And I just wanted to do a couple of notes about that. If you do study French at university, the first thing to say, you'll almost certainly spend a year abroad in France, and which is a fantastic opportunity to improve your spoken skills mainly. I know when I studied French at university, my 3rd year was in Lyon in France, and it was really there that suddenly I became far more fluent, because I was talking French, not necessarily 24 hours a day, but obviously speaking French a lot more than I was in the UK, even at university. Just to give you an idea, the French at Oxford University, including a year studying abroad, 3 A's. French at Leeds University, including a year abroad or working in industry, they normally ask actually for A, B, B. And then French at Liverpool University, including a year abroad, studying or working as an assistant teacher. Remember, the assistant teacher means you actually teaching English. You deliver about, I think it's about 8 hours lessons a week in a school, really of English. The idea is you're there to let the French students learning English over in the schools in France, let them practice their English. So you are their, their chance to practice English on a real English person. And for that, you get paid. You get paid as well, some. So, again, that's an option at Liverpool University, which as we know is just half an hour on the motorway. And it says for more details on the single subject French degrees on offer, if you have a look, there's a really useful website called theuniguide.co.uk. Have a look at that and you will find out a little bit more. But the other thing I just wanted to mention is because I know nowadays it's tough, you know, you've got to choose 3 A levels again. When we had 4, when it was 4 ASs into 3 A levels, it meant it gave that little bit more of a choice. Now, not everybody will be able to do 4 A levels. Most of you will do 3 A levels and maybe an EPQ. But if what I just want you to think about is some of the possible courses that you could do that would involve French. So again, if you look at some of the examples on the screen, biotechnology in French for science at Imperial College in London. Okay, if you go down, you've got mathematics and French at Southampton University. So again, if you want to do maths and you think, yeah, maths is the right thing for you, brilliant. But actually, you can do it with French at university. You've got economics and French at Queen's University in Belfast. Chemistry and French at St Andrews University. There are lots of, there's law with French at Bristol University. So, when you're thinking about A levels, if you do think about doing French with a subject, just think ahead as well. Think about what you might do at university. And again, language skills for your CV. Well, look, here are some of the skills you could have acquired. Communication, really important. Gathering, assessing, and interpreting information. So for example, if we study the book L'Étranger, you've got to gather the information, you've got to assess it, you've got to interpret it, and then write about it. Leading and participating in discussions and groups, you've got on the screen. You can see some of the options there. Attention to detail, really important. Listening to other people, a really important skill in life is listening. That type of thing. So. Problem solving, resilience is again for languages is a big thing. So there's some of the language skills for your CV. Finally, boys, just career opportunities. Well, there you go. There's some of them on the screen. Charities administrator. You've got human resources officer. But again, looking at some of them, yes, you've got secondary school teacher, of course. If anybody wants to go into teaching a language, then French obviously is still very sought after job in this country. But solicitor, tourism officer, marketing manager, public relations officer, all these are just some of the many jobs out there that will require languages. Finally, just saying, famous people with language degrees. I mean, Paula Radcliffe, the long distance runner, she's got modern European studies from Loughborough. I'm looking down there. Hugh Edwards, he studied French at Cardiff University. J.K. Rowling, she studied French and classics at the University of Exeter, where she was later awarded an honorary degree. And Martin Toll, opera singer and head of languages at St Ambrose College, read French with Italian at the University of Leicester. That last one is a slight joke, but it was not a joke. I did read French with Italian at the University of Leicester. But so there you go. I hope what this short presentation of 20 minutes has at least given you some insight into French next year. It's great that we've got the 4 of you have joined here to listen to the presentation, and I hope that you go on to do the course. It really is. It's an enjoyable course, boys, and certainly over the next few weeks, really over the year, just come and speak to me. Come and speak to Miss Woodolph if you are interested, or you've got any further questions to ask us about this. All right, boys. So thank you for joining this evening, and I'll let you move on to your next presentation. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.